the internet can feel big, endless. But with Ting, it can connect you to people, to new ideas, and unlimited opportunities, as long as your internet provider doesn't get in the way. With the choice between big internet, complicated internet, or your internet, choose the internet that actually feels like yours. We're Ting. In Wake County, we're here for you. So sign up today at ting.com.
Rescue Wood Rehab in Fuquay-Varina is proud to be your local custom woodworking shop for furniture, home decor, and more. Visit us and maybe spend some time with our shop dog, Amber. Rescue Wood Rehab is more than wood, it's an experience. rwrnc.com.
Summer travel is coming. Make sure your car is ready with Cary Car Care. Family owned and operated, they'll keep you safe on the road all season long. Give us a call at 919-380-0040 to schedule your summer service today or visit with us at carycarcare.com. Cary Car Care. It must be right, or we'll make it right.
Hi there, and welcome to What's Up Wake.
Spend your day is the only way. Take a break with What's Up Wake. Ooh, What's Up Wake?
Presented by the publishers of Cary Magazine, Wake Living, and Main and Broad, What's Up Wake covers the people, places, restaurants, and events, essentially all the cool stuff and great news of Wake County. I'm your host, Melissa Wistahuff. Join me as we find out what's up Wake. I'm brewing up something special with today's guest. If you've ever thought, I wish coffee would just roll straight up to me, well, Sam Nelson can make that dream a reality. As the owner of Pretty Good Coffee Company, Sam is serving up more than just a caffeine jolt. He's delivering personality, community, and a whole lot of flavor on wheels. Behind this rolling brew-to-full luxury coffee cart company is a creator who's turning a simple cup of coffee into full-blown works of art. From perfectly poured lattes to designs that are almost too pretty to drink, Sam has mastered the art of the cart, keeping customers energized and smiling one cup at a time. So grab your favorite mug, got mine here, and settle in because this conversation is about to perk up your day. Welcome, Sam.
Thanks, Melissa. Glad to be here.
I'm excited to chat with you because this is really an out-of-the-box type of company.
Yeah.
But let's get to know you first.
For sure.
Where are you from? Tell us about yourself. How did you come up with the idea of Pretty Good Coffee Company?
Yeah, well, I'm not a native to North Carolina. I grew up in Chicago, lived in D.C. for a number of years, Virginia, Ohio. And then my wife and I moved here in about 2018 to the Carolinas. And I can remember going over the top of the mountains and immediately being hit by the pollen. And that was my first intro.
You must have moved here in March.
Exactly, yes. And I thought, what have we done?
Yeah.
But we've loved it. We've been here ever since. And so we live in the North Raleigh area. And it really started, I tell people it started with a birthday. It was my wife's birthday's in April. And for one of these birthdays, I thought, I'm going to get her a home espresso machine. So I bought one for her, and I ended up buying a gift for myself because I liked it a whole lot more than she did. But she ended up liking the vanilla lattes along the way. And so it just really started with, a new hobby that I discovered, enjoying making coffee at home, serving people, and it just grew from there.
So why a mobile coffee company and not your stereotypical coffee shop?
Yeah, I mean, practically in the beginning, it was what we had time for. And so we would do events on the weekends. We would do a lot of apartment communities will have, monthly resident events. And so we'd go and we'd bring our cart and we'd serve coffee to residents. And that's what we'd do on the weekends. And in the early days, I thought, man, this is amazing. If I could just do one event a month, this will pay for the hobby, right? Mm-hmm. I can just get more and more stuff and I could be, happy. But people just started booking us, and we've had opportunities for brick and mortar locations in the last few years, and we've explored them. But each time, I'm just drawn to the uniqueness and the fun of the cart experience, new people, new guests, new clients, and so we stuck with it. And
I've got to think too, there's not that overhead of having the expense on the expense side of things.
Yes, from a business standpoint, whether you're a restaurant or a coffee shop, you're paying bills every day. You've got to keep employees on tap, ready to go. And in the cart, world, our costs scale with our business. And so when business is good, our costs go up. And when business is a little down, our costs go down. And that's been really great to be able to explore new opportunities and, do more fun things.
Let's talk about the name.
Yeah.
Pretty Good Coffee Company.
Right.
I love the name. I will say, though, it kind of depends on where you put the inflection.
Sure.
I mean,
yeah,
it's pretty good.
Right.
Or it's
right.
pretty good.
Right. Oh, pretty good.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So how did you guys come up with this name?
It was one of those moments, there was no marketing team. There was no ChatGPT. There was no Googling. I think it's just one of my phrases like, oh yeah, this is pretty good. And I remember sitting down, we were starting to get some traction. And I thought, I need a name for this thing. And so I started, Googling and Instagramming different names. I thought, you know what, Pretty Good Coffee. And it was available. And so we went with it. And it's been super fun because just about every event, someone says like, oh, this is pretty good. And it's just a fun little moment to say, yeah, we say pretty good, but, we're hoping that's actually pretty great.
Yeah. Good. I read in, I think it was our April issue of Cary magazine, you have a feature in that issue.
Yeah.
And you said that you like to call yourself the Chick-fil-A of coffee.
Yes.
Why is that?
Yeah, well, just from a leadership standpoint, I wanted our teams to think about everything that Chick-fil-A has and the experience we have at Chick-fil-A and to channel that in some way when we are meeting the needs of one of our clients. And when I think about Chick-fil-A, I think about super fast and super friendly. And so I've just wanted our teams at every moment, we've got to be really efficient and we've got to be really hospitable along the way. Sometimes in specialty coffee, there's this stigma of kind of snooty, kind of, it's kind of this far-reaching, kind of quality that you kind of have to be cool to enjoy. And I wanted to lower that bar. I wanted people to feel like our baristas were so friendly, there was no barrier to entry, and that they loved serving them coffee. So that's where the name and the kind of the connection came from.
And if you're like Chick-fil-A, you have to say, my pleasure, when you hand them
That's
a
right.
cup of
Yeah.
coffee.
Yeah.
Okay, you mentioned specialty coffee. What is considered specialty coffee, and how does that separate itself from regular coffee?
Yeah. Well, with my snooty comments in mind, specialty coffee, I like to really just say good coffee is if it tastes good, right? If it tastes good, it is good. That being said, there's some standards, right, of how we can do certain things to make coffee taste maybe a little bit better. And so sometimes people come to me and say like, hey, my coffee doesn't taste too good. And so, I kind of walk them through some specialty coffee values. Some of those are that there's precision from measuring exact dosage of the beans that you put into a grinder, grinding them fresh, using specialty water to brew your coffee, keeping track of variables like the temperature of your water and how long it takes. Coffee is really chemistry if you boil it down. And so specialty coffee essentially is trying to meet or exceed standards that, you've established for yourself previously. And so wanting to maintain just a tight threshold of, we don't want to have any we don't want to deviate from our recipes, and we want to make sure that every cup of coffee is consistent from the first cup to the 200th cup. I want to make sure someone's got a good experience. So specialty coffee prioritizes some of those values to make sure that there's consistency in it.
You mentioned water, and it took me a while to realize the importance of the quality of water that you're using to brew a good cup of coffee.
Right.
I know when I go to Boone, I love the Boone area, they have the best water in the mountains. I don't know what it is, but they just have the best water. But the coffee there tastes so much better than the coffee, especially at the beach when the water is kind of, salty. And, so water makes a huge difference. I'm glad you mentioned that. Where do you get your coffee beans?
Yeah, we are partnered with Black and White Coffee Roasters in Wake Forest. So,
good.
Local company. Yep, we've got our special blend with them. Pretty good coffee, and we love working with them.
You brought me some today,
we did.
And I always tell people that my favorite guest. I'm not supposed to choose favorites, but I do if you bring me a gift.
Yeah.
So thank you for this. I'm excited to
You're
try
so welcome.
this. So they are in Wake Forest.
Yep.
I have not been out there. I very rarely go out to Wake Forest these days. I'm on the other side of Raleigh.
Sure.
I always joke that if I go to Wake Forest, I might as well drive to Greensboro.
Sure. Yeah.
But so have you found that coffee really tastes very different if it's from, say, Costa Rica or, Venezuela, what Colombian coffee?
Yeah.
So how do you choose what kind you like the most?
That's a great question. The places where coffee's from certainly matters. I think what matters equally or even a little bit more is how it's processed. And so different regions have different processing techniques. There's essentially 3 standard ones, and there's deviations from these, but there's washed coffee, natural coffee, and then what they call a honey processed coffee. And it basically goes back to wherever the region is where that coffee is produced, what did the growers and the regulators, what do they do with the coffee cherry? Because it starts as a little fruit that grows on a bush, and there's the skin around it, there is the cherry pulp, and then the seed, essentially. And depending on what you do with that pulp, whether you wash it off or you leave it on and then dry your beans, it actually affects the taste of the coffee. So in broad terms, a washed coffee, when they remove that outside fruit layer, wash the coffee and then let it dry, it's going to taste very clear, very that the coffee is going to shine through, very earthy, versus a natural coffee when they let it dry and process with the fruit on it, it actually starts to impart some of that fruitiness, that juiciness, and those typically taste a little more fruity, kind of fruit punch at times. And so regions matter, but that processing matters just as much, if not a little bit more.
I always think about things like this when you're talking about finding the fruit on the bush, and I think, who was the first person that found this and thought, I'm going to make a hot caffeinated drink out of this? I'd love to go back in time and meet that person and understand their brain.
If I actually remember the story right, it was goats in Africa that these farmers noticed that goats in Africa were eating these beans and that they were wired. Like they were like energetic and doing things. And so like it just led to like, why don't we try these, berries growing on these trees? Yeah, right. Yeah. And so, here we are, fast forward a few hundred years.
That's awesome. I love that. Okay. You guys are more than just coffee. You also have an artistic element that you like to do.
Yeah.
What made you incorporate art, and how do you go about incorporating the art to your coffee?
Yeah. Well, that's a little bit about specialty coffee, is that latte art is standard. And so like when we're pouring milk, we're steaming it, in a way that can allow us to pour latte art, whether that's a heart, a tulip, or a swan. And so that was standard for us on our drinks from the beginning. We wanted people to know that what they're about to taste is delicious. And so we want to show them a beautiful picture. And then we took that the next step further by using our Latte Art printer, and that allows us to create custom images and logos.
Yeah, because I've seen pictures of your coffee and lattes with actual faces on them. Yeah. Our editor even had her face put on a cup of coffee.
Yeah. And that's been, that's part of like our value. Like we value coffee, but we value hospitality more. And so if you think about luxury hospitality, it is anticipating and exceeding your needs before you even know that you have them. And so when we thought about our clients, we thought these are some things that they're going to really be wowed by. And so every time we show up, we want to wow someone. And so we thought this latte art printer is a no-brainer. We can upload their logo. We can, when we do artist events, we will get a picture, like a headshot of the artist, put it on the cup, and surprise them. Like, here you go. It's your face, right? We did an event with, it was a groundbreaking RTP, and Governor Stein was there. And so we printed his face right on a cup of coffee. And it always wows people because they're always like, this is amazing. So it was just an extension of our hospitality forward kind of mindset.
Well, I understand the desire for hospitality, but when somebody is ordering coffee, they also want it super fast.
That's
so
right.
How do you balance that, between having, speed, quality, and customer experience?
Yeah. Well, I tell our teams we're aiming for 90 seconds from ordering to sipping.
Wow.
And we love that. And I think we meet it or exceed it sometimes. And there's a few ways that we've done that. Part of that is that as a business owner, I want to give our team the best equipment. And so I don't want to cut corners by giving them maybe cheaper equipment that might take a little bit longer, because at the end of the day, it's going to create a more frustrating work experience for my baristas.
Yeah, I mean, when you say the word printer, I'm always like jamming a printer, messing up somehow. And you say printer, I'm like, I'm out because I know I'm going to break that thing. But it sounds like if it's a really nice, high quality machine.
All of our stuff is high quality. We're using things that you'd see in a specialty cafe, handmade in Italy, La Marzocco machines, Malconic grinders, and we're trying to find the equipment that is going to help ensure speed. And so, part of that is training our teams to even use the equipment in a fast way, all the while being friendly and hospitable, which is kind of the art of training teams to not just be focused too much on coffee or too much on people, but to do them both equally well. So,
how does a mobile coffee cart work? Do I book you guys to come to my location?
Yeah.
Or do you just pop up around town wherever you want to go if you're not booked?
Yeah, no, we typically just do catering. We did some pop-ups in the beginning, but then, events started pouring in, so we just wanted to devote time to our catering contracts. Yeah, essentially you fill out our booking form, and the way that we operate is that you tell us the amount of people that will be there, the amount of time that you want us serving coffee, and then we give you a quote for unlimited coffee drinks for your guests during that time frame. And so if you were to book us, we'd show up at, probably an hour and a half before. We would discreetly set up everything, get ready to serve your guests for those few hours, pack up, and drive away. And so that's typically kind of what that looks like.
Back on the road. Back in the saddle. Back to the land. Back in the game. Back in the swing of things. Wake Orthopedics. Get back your life. And get back in the groove.
Looking for a place the whole family can enjoy? Visit Triangle Area Trading Cards on Jones Franklin Road in Raleigh. Join us on August 15th for a $1,000 Pokemon tournament and on August 16th for Star Wars Unlimited, Ashes of the Empire Store Showdown. Make sure to follow Triangle Area Trading Cards on Instagram for more exciting events. This August, experience one of North Carolina's most beloved traditions, Lazy Days Arts and Crafts Festival in Cary. Stroll through hundreds of artists, enjoy live music, delicious local food, and family fun all weekend long. Discover creativity around every corner at Lazy Days. Learn more at carync.gov/lazydays.
Welcome to Podcast Cary, professional podcast studios with more than 50 shows making podcasting simple and fun. It starts right on our website. Pick a time that fits your schedule, tell us what you're working on, and we'll take care of the rest. You focus on the conversation. We handle everything else. Because starting a podcast should be fun, not complicated. Come see how easy it can be at podcastcary.com.
So what is your favorite type of client? What's your ideal day and setup look like for you?
It's a great question. I love them all. I think that
No, I want you to name your very favorite one and your least favorite one. Go.
Well, I think our favorite clients are the clients that are focused on wowing their guests, that kind of share the value of over-the-top hospitality. Sometimes when we love not being the focal point and supporting someone else's dream or vision, and even taking it the next level. So typically we see that with like brand activations, marketing events, like Sweet Green opened up a new location in Chapel Hill, and that was just super fun. There's a lot of energy in the room, and we just love being part of that energy. And so, those are some of our favorite events.
Do you have a dream local client or a dream event that you guys haven't catered to yet?
Yeah, well, one of my favorites was doing coffee for Blink-182 at it was at the PNC Arena at the time. Now it's the Lenovo Stadium. So that was a hit. But the event venue that we've not done yet is Red Hat Amphitheater. And so we would love that. I think that'd be a kind of a bucket list location for us.
Yeah. That would be really fun. And the perfect spot
to
set up a cart.
Totally. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Although I have found, especially the older I get, I cannot have caffeine past like 5 p.m.
Yeah.
So I would have to have a decaf for mine.
Yeah.
Coming out of a concert or something like that, I'd be up all night.
Decaf, for sure.
Do you have a favorite spot that you have served at? You mentioned Lenovo.
Yeah.
Do you have any other spots that you just, as soon as you see the booking, you think, yes, I get to go back here?
Yeah, well, there's a few favorites, and some of those are like the Raleigh Realtors Association. You'd never expect like they need coffee, but we love going back there, for example, because they share our values for hospitality. The teams there are really friendly and enjoyable to be around. We've also done events with Deepak in Durham, and I mean that's always just like kind of backstage anywhere is super fun to be around the energy of the room.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah.
What lessons have you learned along the way since you've opened up this company?
Yeah, tons. I've made tons of mistakes, looked back and thought, okay, I need to do that better. I need to expect more of myself and even a little bit less of my team, kind of practicing extreme ownership, thinking that if like whatever is happening at an event before, during, or after, there's something upstream that I did that caused that. And so when things don't go right, I've got to look at myself first and say, okay, what can I adjust in my leadership that's going to, create a better experience? In addition to that, I think learning how to develop leaders has been a big part of this, of kind of training our event leads to be really great, not managers, but leaders that are supporting their teams, supporting the baristas that they lead. And so some of that is skill development, and some of that's character of like, hey, we're not harsh. We're not going to be harsh with the guests. We're not going to be harsh with our team, because the hospitality that they experience from me as the boss and owner is going to be the hospitality that they demonstrate to our guests. And so it always flows downstream from leadership. And so that's been a big lesson along the way.
How do you go about recruiting and training your baristas in particular?
Yeah, we start with not the skill of can you make coffee, but are you an enjoyable, friendly person? Because I can teach you how to make coffee.
Yeah.
Right? I've taught most of our baristas how to steam milk, how to pull a good shot of espresso. What I can't teach you very quickly is how to be a nice person. And so we look for nice people that are really friendly, really enjoyable. And then from there,
the Chick-fil-A personality.
That's right, the Chick-fil-A personality. We've hired a few ex-Chick-fil-A employees. And then from there, we train the skills. And we found that formula works a lot better than trying to find someone that knows coffee and then teach them how to be really friendly.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you really can't teach that part.
It's a little more difficult.
Yeah, I would say so.
It's caught rather than taught. Yeah.
For sure. Okay. On a regular day, I walk up to your coffee cart. What is one thing that looks easy but is actually not easy?
Oh, that's a great question.
I mean, I would think the art, but now you're saying that it's really a digital thing that you can just,
Well, there's the digital part to art, and then there's the manual part. If I had to pick that, I'd probably say that, because pouring latte art is so much more than just simply a cup and then pouring the milk. Anyone that's got a home espresso machine at home.
And if you mess it up, you've got to start over with the whole cup, right?
That's right. And we do that.
Yeah.
We do that.
Yeah.
Like I'll look at something and then I'll look at the client, and there's a part of me that wants to say, just put a lid on it and just give it to them and go. And like to me, I tell our teams, like, we don't cut corners. And so in that moment, I'm either going to build our company by doing what I preach, or I'm going to break it down by saying like, no, it's okay, we can excuse this. So pouring the art is definitely tough because it starts with steaming the milk correctly. And then once you steam it correctly, you're able to pour it correctly. And so there's kind of 2 stages to that.
Okay. What does a perfect day look like for you running your cart?
That's a great question. Perfect day. A perfect day is several events would be great that our teams are running that I get to simply just visit and support. I did that this morning. Our team was doing an event and I get to cheer them on. I get to coach them. I get to be their greatest cheerleader. I get to interact with clients and say, hey, I'm here just because I value you. Thank you for booking us. Doing some emails, getting some, long-term planning done. I'm a deep thinker. And so I'm thinking like, okay, what do we need to be doing 6 months, 12 months from now? And so I'm trying to think, kind of big picture kind of stuff. And then of course, time with family and, being able to reflect on the day or even reflect on the cool clients that we had that day.
Do you prefer setting up outside somewhere or do you like being indoors?
Both are fine. If I had to pick one, I'd probably say indoors. We've done some pretty hot events outside before.
Oh yeah, that is true.
Yeah. Yep. And then the funny thing with like coffee is that humidity and temperature affect its quality. And so sometimes our grinders don't work as well outside. And
That's a very good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, that goes along with the pollen that you were introduced to on day one.
Oh, yes. We've done events like weddings outside. And after the event, there's a thin layer of pollen everywhere. And we're like, okay, let's do a deep clean. We got to get rid of this.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
How many carts do you guys have?
We just launched our 3rd cart. Yeah.
Oh, great.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
So
so
you
3
can,
carts.
so you ideally could have 3 different events happening simultaneously.
That's right. And we've done that. There was this one crazy weekend that we had where we had a Madewell grand opening in Wilmington. And then we had a children's boutique grand opening here in Chapel Hill. And so we were like, could not be farther apart.
Yeah.
But our teams crushed it and they did a great job.
What is next? You talked about 6 months down the line, a year down the line. What is next for Pretty Good Coffee Company?
Sometimes people ask, like, okay, when are you going to open that brick and mortar? And I don't think that's the next spot for us. I think the next spot for us is expanding that luxury hospitality to different foods and beverages.
Oh, interesting.
So, like, our mission as a team is to transform your event with luxury hospitality. And I chose a broad mission statement on purpose because I wanted it to apply to food, to mobile bartending, to coffee.
Yeah, mobile bartending
mobile
would be
smoothies.
great.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's what I think about when I think about the next 6 or 12 months.
Okay. So if you had to start another cart tomorrow, would it be bartending? Do you think you would do that first?
I think so.
Yeah.
There's a few of us on the team that, kind of find that as a hobby, enjoy that. And a lot of our equipment scales to that, right? We could probably make the best mobile espresso martini in all of Raleigh because, we're a coffee company.
Yeah.
Also doing bartending. And so I think, a lot of those, sometimes coffee events are morning events. And then I think it'd be easy to then kind of jump into some of the evening events. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Come up to a wedding or,
Right.
After a concert, like you said.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does make sense.
Yeah.
Okay, it is time for our What's Up Roundup,
Okay.
where I ask a lightning round series of questions before we go. If you could serve coffee to any celebrity, athlete, anyone in the world, who would you want to serve?
Who would I want to serve? I think...
Could be past, could be present,
Okay.
anybody.
Yeah, I would probably say this is feel very random. There's this author from the 16th century that I love to read, and his name is Thomas Brooks. And he was a pastor in England at the time. And so I'd probably just say I'd love to serve Thomas Brooks a cup of coffee.
Yeah, especially if you could stay around for a chat.
Right, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So he's a fan of mine. We named our first son after him. So
Okay.
yeah, I'd probably say him.
Great. Okay. All right. I thought you were going to say like J-Lo or something like
Yeah.
that. So that was a lot deeper than I expected.
That's the real answer. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
it.
that's a great one. What is your most popular drink with customers?
Yeah. Well, our menu changes every season. We make our syrups from scratch, and so we do a new batch of syrups every kind of few months. Right now, it's been vanilla cardamom. And so whether that's a vanilla cardamom latte or cappuccino, that one has been a huge hit.
That sounds delicious.
It is. Have you ever had cardamom before?
No, I don't think I have.
It's similar to vanilla. It's like an earthy or herbal kind of vanilla taste to it. It's really popular, obviously in India, but then also in countries like Sweden. And my wife and I visited some friends in Sweden a few years ago, and they have these cardamom buns. And that was the inspiration for how do I take this experience and put it into a cup of coffee? So the vanilla cardamom latte is probably that.
Wow, that actually sounds really amazing. If Raleigh had an official coffee drink, what would it be?
Something with oak trees, certainly.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe maybe the Oak City latte, and we've got, real acorns in it, something like that, right?
Yeah, that's a good one. All right, what is the strangest latte art you have ever gotten as a request?
Well, one time we were at an event and someone, for whatever reason, they had their home, like their own mug from home. And it was this giant mug. And something about latte art and pouring latte art, it really needs to be the right cup to pour latte art correctly.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
And this mug was like a gallon size.
So it would be like the person's whole
Yes.
face and life size could be printed on.
Yeah, and he asked me, I would like you to pour a swan into my mug. And I thought,
It's a fat swan.
yeah, I thought I would love to do that. Swans are already hard, but I cannot do it with this giant cup that you have.
Because it
Yeah.
really, you pour it and then it fills up the space,
It
right?
does, yeah. So I would need a giant pitcher to even do that.
He
And
was
so-
just trying to mess with you.
Maybe, yeah.
It
yeah,
sounds like it.
Yeah.
Okay, tell us where we can find you guys, where we can follow you on social media, and where we can book the coffee cart.
Yeah, prettygoodcoffeecompany.com is our website. And then same thing on Instagram, Pretty Good Coffee Company. There's a link there called, click book us. And this great booking page will come up and it'll ask you all the questions that we need. And that'll start the conversation.
Thank you so much for being here today.
Yeah.
Thank you for my gift. I'm
You're welcome.
excited to try the coffee.
Yeah.
And I look forward to actually visiting the cart one day.
Sounds great. Thanks, Melissa.
Thanks so much, Sam.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening to What's Up Wake with Melissa Wistahuff, presented by the publishers of Cary Magazine, Wake Living, and Main and Broad. Follow them on social media at Cary Magazine NC, at MB Magazine NC, and at Wake Living Magazine. Visit each magazine's website at carymagazine.com, mainandbroadmag.com, and wakeliving.com to check out the latest digital edition of each magazine and find pickup locations. Be sure to subscribe and leave a 5-star review to help others find us. Music provided by Angie Bagley and Chris Bagley. This show is produced by Podcast Cary.